You know what they never tell you about freedom? It's hard-earned. And once you claim it, people come out of the woodwork trying to tear it away from you. Especially if you're Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. But while their detractors are busy flinging mud, trying to rewrite their story with lies and venom, Harry and Meghan are doing something far more impressive. They're building, not just surviving, building. And the news that broke this week proves just how intentional and strategic they truly are. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex have appointed two incredible women to key positions within their office, Sarah Fosmo as Chief of Staff and Lianne Cashin as an advisor. Now, these aren't just names being thrown around for PR. These are elite professionals with resumes that would make any Fortune 500 CEO stop and take notice. This isn't about just replacing people, it's about leveling up. Let's start with Sarah Fosmo. If that name sounds unfamiliar to you now, get used to it, because she's about to play a huge role behind the scenes of Meghan's growing media and lifestyle empire. Sarah spent nearly 6 years working in the inner circle of none other than Bill Gates. That's right. She operated at the top of the tech and philanthropy world, managing high-stakes operations for one of the most powerful and scrutinized billionaires on the planet. You don't get that job unless you're sharp, steady, and unshakable. Sarah's known for being able to handle pressure with grace and discretion, exactly what Meghan needs as she enters a new phase of visibility. With her Netflix show with Love Meghan on the horizon, a brand new podcast called Confessions of a Female Founder, and the relaunch of her lifestyle brand, now under the elegant name As Ever, Meghan is reclaiming her voice in her own way, bold, stylish, and unapologetically grounded in who she is. And now she has a chief of staff who has already worked with one of the most scrutinized, powerful men on earth. The haters can say what they want, but you don't attract that kind of talent unless you're doing something right. And then there's Lianne Cashin. She's stepping in as an advisor, but this isn't her first time around the Sussexes. She previously worked closely with Josh Kettler, Harry's former chief of staff. Before that, she was a personal assistant to Olympic legend Shaun White, someone who knows a thing or two about navigating celebrity success and intense media pressure. Cashin isn't just a staffer. She's someone who knows how to manage chaos with class, someone who brings stability to high-profile environments. Now, the British press tried to make a meal out of the fact that Kettler left after 3 months, but here's what they conveniently left out. He was hired on a trial basis, and both parties agreed it wasn't a fit. That's not a scandal. That's what professionalism looks like. That's how business gets done. The tabloids would rather create drama than acknowledge that the Sussexes are running their organisation like a real, modern, professional outfit. Not a crumbling old palace held together by outdated protocols and entitlement. And let's take a moment to really appreciate the Sussex leadership style, one built on compassion, loyalty, and empowerment. You want receipts? We've got them. Meghan personally supported staff during moments of illness, loss, and life changes. She reportedly checked in every single day when a former staffer's husband was in the ICU, not for PR, but out of genuine care. She's gifted baby gear to new parents, sent treats for employees' pets, and created a workplace where people feel valued as humans, not just as titles. Let me ask you this. Do you think Buckingham Palace was offering that kind of support when Meghan was suicidal and begging for help? Exactly. So while the royals are spinning their wheels with thinly veiled PR fluff and hollow appearances, Harry and Meghan are building something with depth, substance, and a vision for the future. And it terrifies their critics. It terrifies the royal rota. It terrifies the trolls. Because it's not supposed to be like this. Meghan was supposed to disappear after the media tried to destroy her. Harry was supposed to crawl back to the palace in shame. But instead, they chose freedom. And with that freedom, they've crafted a life full of intention. They've handpicked people who believe in their mission. Sarah Fosmo, Lianne Cashin. These are not assistants. They are strategic thinkers, executors, and protectors of a growing legacy. They've worked with billionaires and Olympic champions, and now they're backing Meghan and Harry. And let's not forget what Catherine Saint Laurent, who also came from the Gates Foundation, had to say after working with them. She described Harry and Meghan as incredibly talented and creative leaders. That's not the kind of language people use when they leave in a huff. That's what someone says when they've been inspired. The media doesn't want to admit it, but the truth is obvious. Harry and Meghan are not the underdogs anymore. They're the blueprint. They walked away from the toxicity, stood their ground, and built something with global reach. Archewell is growing, their media presence is sharpening, their message is consistent: compassion, equity, truth and resilience. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry rework. Their staffing, including a former employee of Bill Gates. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex have tapped Sarah Fosmo as their office's Chief of Staff and Lianne Cashin as an advisor. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, Bill Gates. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have appointed two of their longtime staffers to new roles, Sarah Fosmo as Chief of Staff and Lianne Cashin as advisor. Fosmo previously worked for Bill Gates's office for nearly 6 years, and Cashin was an executive assistant to Josh Kettler, Harry's former Chief of Staff, who left the position after a 3-month trial period. Cashin also used to be a personal assistant to Sean White. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have appointed two of their longtime staffers to new roles. The Duchess of Sussex, 43, and the Duke of Sussex, 40, have tapped Sarah Fosmo as their office's Chief of Staff and Leanne Cashin as advisor. People understands. Fosmo is overseeing Meghan during a period of immense change and growth in her career, with the recent launch of her Netflix show, With Love, Meghan, and podcast, Confessions of a Female Founder, as well as the rebrand of her lifestyle company, As Ever. Fosmo was previously an employee of Bill Gates, according to her LinkedIn profile. She worked for the Microsoft co-founder's office for nearly 6 years and left the company in December 2024. The same month she joined Harry and Meghan's team. Per LinkedIn. Her LinkedIn profile describes her as an accomplished professional with an extensive, long-tenured career managing complex, high-stakes operations for ultra-high net worth individuals, UHNYs. It also notes that she is adept at navigating high-pressure environments and trusted with confidential matters. Cashin, meanwhile, was previously the executive assistant to Josh Kettler, Harry's former Chief of Staff. Kettler started in his role just a week before the couple's official visit to Nigeria in May 2024, and left the position 3 months later, People reported at the time. Hired on a trial basis, the decision to part ways was mutual, with both sides agreeing it wasn't the right fit. Previously, Cashin worked for another big name, Sean White. She was a personal assistant to the pro snowboarder, even making appearances in a 2014 New York Times profile of the Olympian. Fosmo is not the first member of Harry and Meghan's staff to have previous ties to Gates. Their former Chief of Staff, Catherine St. Laurent, worked for the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation prior to working with Meghan and Harry to steer the Archewell Foundation in early 2020. St. Laurent later told The Cut in 2021 that working with the couple was an incredible experience. They are incredibly talented and creative leaders, the former employee said at the time. I'm grateful to have had the opportunity to do that, to be able to be with them on their journey. The time that I spent with them was incredibly fulfilling. They are not failing, they are evolving, and they're doing it on their own terms. So let this be a message to the haters and naysayers. You can mock, you can lie, you can spin, but the world is watching. And more people than ever are waking up to the fact that Harry and Meghan are the real deal. If you support them, if you believe in their journey, and if you're tired of the toxic royal spin machine, now is the time to raise your voice louder than ever. Join us, subscribe to this channel, share this video, and if you can, hit that super thanks and help us keep this truth-telling platform alive. Because here at Royal Sussex Squad, we don't just tell stories, we defend legacies. Stay strong, stay smart, and stay loyal to truth, and always, always ride for Harry and Meghan.